Hello everyone, I'm Eriris. Today I'm going to talk about Detective Conan. Today, I'd want to discuss a few topics relating Apotoxin 4869. In this video, I'll talk about the topics that follow. What is known about Apotoxin 4869 so far? ROM and Apotoxin 4869. Vermouth killing Mary with the Apotoxin 4869. The suicide attempt by Sherry using the Apotoxin 4869. 1. What is known about Apotoxin 4869 so far? I'd want to begin by summarizing the information we currently know about Apotoxin 4869. Apotoxin 4869 was first introduced in manga chapter 1 when Jin forced Shinichi into drinking. Jin stated that the organization had just developed this poison and that it would not even be discovered at autopsy. Before Shiho was born, Mayano Atsushi and Mayano Elena joined the organization and began working on Apotoxin 4869. Vermouth, however, stated in manga chapter 434, "If you hate someone for this, blame your parents who took over this foolish research." And in the manga's chapter 189, Haibara thought, "Kudo-kun. I guess that you've never dreamt of it, but you're already deeply involved in a top-secret project that we, the organization, have been working on for half a century." Based on this, the organization was working on this before Mayanos joined the project. Around 50 years have passed since the long-term project began. Mayanos continued to work for the organization on Apotoxin 4869 until they died in a fire in their laboratory. Also, this incident caused some research documents to burn. Haneda Koji and Amanda Hughes were killed with Apotoxin 4869 developed by the Mayanos. Shiho took on the research after Mayanos passed away and produced the current version. I'd like to mention here that Shiho was actually forced to produce a different drug. The version developed by Shiho and used on Kudo Shinichi, however, is not the complete version of the drug. However, after witnessing Shiho in his rejuvenated state, Pisco stated that he was amazed that she had brought the drug this far. Apotoxin 4869 was previously introduced by Jin as an organization new poison. But Pisco, who is a close friend of the Mayanos, implied that this was not true. Shiho said that producing poison was not her purpose. Based on all these, we might assume that Apotoxin 4869 research was started for a different purpose than developing a deadly poison. What then could this be? I believe the answer is hidden in the ROM that we saw in chapter 1109. ROM thought that if the drug worked as he had imagined, his right eye would be able to turn back in time. While ROM is thinking about these, we see Apotoxin 4869 in the background. ROM is obviously referring to rejuvenation when he says turn back time in this context. Based on this, we can assume that the main goal of Apotoxin 4869 is rejuvenation. Aoyama Gasho said in an interview, "What is the BO's goal? Going by the Apotoxin 4869, I would think immortality." That's wrong. It's true that you'd think that, isn't it? You see, right now, something really big is happening within the organization. The organization's ultimate goal is not immortality, but I think that achieving immortality or delaying aging can be a crucial step towards achieving the ultimate goals. 2. ROM and Apotoxin 4869. ROM appears to be considering using Apotoxin 4869 to heal his eye. ROM already suspects Conan. But he still seems to be unsure, in my opinion. Apotoxin 4869 already works as ROM imagines, after all. Thus, it appears to me that he wouldn't have thought it that way if he were certain. If ROM finds that Sherry is still alive, he seems ready to take action both for the organization and in his favor. Besides that, since Sherry has already left the organization, how does Rom plan to obtain Apotoxin 4869? 3. Vermouth killing Mary with the Apotoxin 4869. Mary was made to consume Apotoxin 4869 by Vermouth. Mary was rejuvenated as a result. As you are known, Vermouth was aware that Apotoxin 4869 rejuvenates instead than kills humans. Thus it seems me as odd that she killed Mary with Apotoxin 4869. She was capable of committing murder in a variety of ways. She might have used Apotoxin 4869 since she followed Karasuma's orders. Vermouth, however, did not pursue Mary once again in an effort to kill her later since she knows Mary is not actually dead. It is difficult to understand Vermouth's motivation for doing this. I'm not sure, but it's possible that she wanted Mary to pursue the organization. Even so, it is obvious that this amounts to a betrayal of the organization. It's also obvious that if that's revealed, it won't be good for Vermouth and Conan's. 4. The suicide attempt by Sherry using the Apotoxin 4869. Shiho was an academic prodigy, and by the age of 13 she was working as a highly ranked scientist for the Black organization. After the death of her sister at the hands of Jin, she rebelled against the Black organization, refusing to complete any work for them until she received a satisfactory explanation for why her sister was killed. Instead, she was confined to a small room to await the boss decided her execution. She took an Apotoxin 4869 pill she had pocketed earlier to commit suicide, but shrank instead to elementary school child age. That allowed her to slip her handcuffs and escape via a rubbish chute. Her only hope was her suspicions about the potential survival of Shinichi Kudo, the only unconfirmed death of the human trial subjects. She fled towards Shinichi's house, but collapsed in the rain outside the house of Shinichi's neighbor, Professor Agasa. Agasa found her. But I did notice one thing in particular. Shiho took the Apotoxin 4869 to end her life. Shiho was already known that Apotoxin 4869 does not cause death in humans. I'm still confused as to why she decided to end her life in this way. I should also mention out that Shiho's first betrayal of the organization, as far as we know, was not her escape. Shiho's first betrayal is to show Shinichi dead. Shiho claimed she did this so she could better observe Shinichi. What do you think of it? Why Vermouth and Shiho used Apotoxin 4869? I'd also like to bring up the elderly man who was shown in Chapter 1096. For this elderly man, one of the candidates for Karasuma, there is no clear information. Our only knowledge of this elderly man's condition is that he likely wants Apotoxin 4869 for himself. I've already made a video about the antidote for Apotoxin 4869. Honestly, I think it won't be good for Shiho if she develops the antidote. Because developing an antidote for a poison needs the ability to produce that poison. That is why I think developing the antidote could be dangerous to Shiho. Such a drug will be desired by many people outside of the organization and Karasuma. They're likely to target Shiho, in my opinion. But, since this is a shounen manga, the main character always succeeds. Because of this, I think Conan will return to his original form. Since a year hasn't yet passed in the Detective Conan universe, I guess that Shinichi will return his original form after a year from the poisoning. Of course, that is only my guess. Do you think the finished Apotoxin 4869 antidote will be discovered? What are your overall opinions on this? Please share your views with me in the comments. That's it for today. Thanks for watching the video till the end.